welcome to Two Guys Garage. Today we've basically got a simple project that's gotten way out of hand. But that's how we roll around here.
Well, it's mine. Of course it's out of hand. Today we're going to take stainless steel tubing. We're going to custom make our own exhaust.
We're going to do a couple other upgrades. We're going to take an old bike that's seen a lot of years. We're going to upgrade it, make it a cafe racer. Stick around.
Killer. Whoa, easy now, don't hurt yourself.
Hey, we've got our 77 CB550 motorcycle. Now this is a classic 70s bike, and there's a lot of them around, so you can pick them up cheap. You can get a lot of used parts. Now most guys are going to be pretty happy getting something cheap like this, cleaning it up, going for a few miles, but not Brian.
Why would we do that? I mean, that's no fun. So the fun part is you get a cheap bike like this and you've got a lot of inexpensive parts and you can put some aside, you can sell some, they run forever. You put oil in it and you keep running it and you could probably run the thing up to 300,000 miles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you got that much seat left in you, you know? Now, it started out pretty simple, a little cleanup bike, a few mods, but tell us where you ended up, because this isn't anything like that bike over there.
Well, we started with the bars. We want to get good, tight drag bars. You know, that made sense, right? So we'll just, let's go ahead and make that.
We'll just start there.
Yeah, so we did some stainless bars. That looks cool. We can leave them raw.
I like how you flipped the crown over. That looks pretty cool. It's got a little bit more texture up here.
Yeah, flipped it upside down. That looks nice. And, we thought, hey, let's go ahead and make it a monoshock. So we've taken the dual shock, got rid of that from the original, and we've taken it and done a dirt bike. Now our theme here is kind of mixing a street bike, cafe racer with dirt bike.
Right. Now, to continue on with this bike, we've got a couple things we want to finish mocking up, and then we can get on to some other projects. Now, we've got some cool hubs here from some dirt bikes, and, with any kind of fabrication project, you can't buy everything you need, especially when it gets to this sort of level. So get all the parts you can buy, make it easy on yourself, but the gaps are going to have to be filled with a little ingenuity.
Yeah, we designed our rotor that would fit on to our dirt bike caliper. And the rotor doesn't care, what kind of bike it's on. It doesn't care what kind of car it's on. It's a 3/16 stainless plate, and the rotor and the caliper grabs it.
Right. So you just want to make sure you have some good, solid mounts. There's some more cool fabrication you can do to get you from A to B with that gap in the middle. So a couple of brackets, make sure they're nice and stout, get everything lined up right. Now you've got basically the makings to go ahead and build a project that's not necessarily like everybody else's. So
now we had the big deal, we wanted to get rid of the weight. That's why we're switching over these hubs.
Yeah.
The original, like on the rear, you remember how heavy that thing was? Because it seemed like it was 40 pounds to pick up that rear wheel. And you're an engineer, you can tell them, what unsprung weight's gonna do.
Yeah, now the nice thing about, wheels and spinning objects is you got two sort of weights. You got unsprung weight, so it's the motion going up and down with your shocks. And that's going to be reduced. It's going to make your suspension handle better. Well, rotational weight, it's huge. It's inertia. So the more mass you can get from spinning, even if it's different from its up and down motion, the quicker your bike's going to accelerate and brake.
Yeah, see this? That's not 40 pounds.
No, it's a lot lighter, and it's going to make the bike feel lighter, quicker. Now it's going to stop better.
Now, one you may not think about when you switch over to a dirt bike is that when you switch out your sprocket, we had this sprocket made out of aluminum. When you switch it out, well, a dirt bike has a big sprocket because it only goes, 35 miles an hour? Probably.
Yeah, and it wants a lot of gearing, a lot of torque to get basically those knobby tires dug in.
So all of a sudden we need to shorten down the sprocket to make it smaller to get the speed up to 100 or so. And to do that, we just barely had enough room. So it's a perfect fit. And I think now we're kind of ready to bolt some of this stuff on, show where everything fits, kind of assemble the bike, and then we can start building some exhaust and doing some ignition.
I've got my tire zip tied in. We just basically need to hold it in its place. Now I've got my hub. I'm going to go ahead and slide my axle through, mount this guy up. Then we can work in the area behind and do the exhaust. And as you can see, we're going to be working right here on the pipes, and they're going to sweep down. So we need the tire to kind of tell us where we're going to be working.
And before I put this rear hub in, I'm just going to show you some of the components. We had the rear dropout. We had it cut out of stainless with a water jet. Then we machined it down to give it a nice thick flange. Now the cool thing about this, we used a normal clevis, so you can see that, and we slid into our tube. What's going to be cool, this will be red, so we'll get red on stainless. Then a lot of times, when you have your axle come through, Like this one we had custom made, ooh, custom nut, custom axle. And when this slides back and forth on this plate, it won't chafe because it'll have a stainless covering. So this is left from our fixture when we're building the frame. So right now, I'm gonna go ahead and get this bolted in. Byrd will button his up.
Right now, gotta take a break. Be back for more Two Guys Garage.
This segment of Two Guys Garage is brought to you by Satisfied Brake Products, North America's leading independent manufacturer of friction technologies. Look to Satisfied for all of your stopping needs.
Welcome back. Okay, we're gonna get started on our pipes here. Now the first thing we're gonna need, obviously, is some tubing. This is a U-bend. As you can see, it's the shape of a U. And what we do, you can order these with different radiuses, which would be radii, right?
Yeah.
And you cut them, and it's not a big mystery. You cut them into a pie shape to get them into the section you want.
Right, so you're going to end up with a lot of, pieces after a while, which actually will kind of help you mock up a few different strategies. But what you want to do is basically get your U-bend, maybe even cut it off a little bit, get out your favorite Sharpie, and you can put little marks on here, go over bandsaw, whatever you need to do, and cut it, get a nice straight flat surface. Then you can start piecing these together. You can lay them, basically butt it in, and you'd be amazed how a little bit of 1-inch tape wrapped real tight will hold that pretty good, and you can start basically threading your pipes through where you need to go.
You can start at usually want to start here at the head. Now we've made our own 3/8 stainless flanges. That's what we're going to weld to, and we've got our own inset tube. Now these have a small inset tube, probably about 7/8 of an inch. And these are a larger tube. Well, what we've done to keep that back pressure in there is use the original tube inside of it. That'll keep some back pressure at the head and allow it to build some low torque better.
Yeah, we'll get a good expansion out of the exhaust stroke. We've got a nice free flowing header. Now what we want to do is kind of get our layout so we've got a target. We've got a starting point, but if you have a target, you're going to wander all over the place. So maybe we should lay out a couple of these pipes and see what kind of look you want, Brian.
Yeah, we've kind of thought about, let's see, hold them up in there.
We can do them a little bit longer, a little bit shorter.
Yeah, this is good, but on the other side, we're going to have a kickstand here. That's going to be a little bit of a problem, I think, if we go in that area. Now, I thought about, we've also got these little collectors. These are really nice, and so we could go a 4 into 2, and so these collectors will help do that. The other way to do it would be like stock, which is all 4 into 1 over on a side, which I don't think I want to do. And then the other would be just 4 straight pipes to go underneath. So I think somewhere, regardless, I need them to go underneath because I don't want to lean over and have the chance of hitting those pipes, and it stays out of the way of the kickstand too.
Well, let's lay out some of these ideas, see which one sticks, and then we can kind of start fixing ourselves on a good game plan. So let's start mocking up here.
Okay. All right, now it's a good idea. We're taping everything in. Tape yourself some spacers, kind of like we did down here. And that'll give you a little bit of room, and like when you go to the opposite side, you can use the same spacer to like space off of a frame rail, off the other tube, anything like that. Now once you get to a point like these center tubes are, we've got them to a point where, they're straight up and down, they got good spacing, they look good. Probably a good time to get a tack. Once you feel comfortable, that's pretty much where I want it. But don't put like, don't crank it up, put a huge tack, put a really small tack. That way you can get it off if you need to.
Yeah. Now what Brian's getting on this exhaust, I'm going to start laying out some of the electronics, the electrical work. That's going to be pretty simple. It's going to be a stripped down bike. So with that in mind, it's going to get rid of the starter. Brian's been working out that leg a lot, so he's going to do a lot of kick starting. We're going to put a really super light, super trick battery in here. Now if you look at it, it says danger. Now inappropriate use. So if I grab these leads and I swing this thing around, I guess I could hurt somebody. But we're going to find a good place underneath this rear tail to mount the battery. You can see over here we've got some of the old electronics we're going to strip out. Now we're going to use the same key, some of the fuse box, but a lot of this we can get rid of. And while we're at it, go ahead and upgrade these coils. So I'm going to find some room to package all this stuff. We'll start figuring out how we're going to lay our wires. So let me start stripping this down. I'll get it simplified. We'll start mounting some of this stuff.
How can I keep my O2 sensor in good working condition? We'll have the answer after the break. How can I keep my O2 sensor in good working condition? Deposits that build up on the O2 sensors cost you dollars at the gas pump. A clean O2 sensor properly monitors the correct fuel-air mixture for optimal fuel mileage. Using Z-Max in your fuel system keeps your O2 sensor working clean and efficient. This tip is brought to you by Z-Max. Performance you can feel.
All right, Byrd, hopefully I get this sucker in the right spot. It's a little hard to get a cutoff wheel into there.
Feels pretty solid.
Looks pretty good. All right, we're back on our stainless steel exhaust system here. Now, when you're feeling this thing out, you know, it's really kind of hard. You go over here, no, I don't like it. Move it over there. That's why we tape it, we tack it. Don't put it on too solid in any one place because you just might change your mind. Now, speaking of change your mind, originally we're going to do 4 pipes, 4 straights. Maybe kick them here, maybe go underneath. But now we've come up with, we're gonna go 4 into 2. And that's gonna work really cool. These beautiful stainless collectors. These are really nice. And we're gonna mount 1 on either side here, bring 4 down. I think what we'll do is come out. We've got about a 2.5-inch outlet. Bring that, kick it, and that should look pretty sharp. We're ready to move on to the next step, and Byrd's up on the electronics.
You know, Brian took basically from flat sheet, made a really cool back half for this bike. It's going to mount on here like that. With the seat come down, there's a lot of room in here to package a couple items that we need. This is pretty neat. You can see on the inside, it's got a lot of banging, beating around, but he's metal finished it beautifully. Now, if you look at the other side, little sneak peek at what's to come. Cool little patterns, but that's for later. Now, right now, I'm going to finish mounting a few of these items. Made a cool little battery strap, real simple. I'm going to wrap this with a foam, basically an isolator insulator. That'll mount down somewhere like that. I've got this great little fuse block we stole from the old bike. So somewhere I'll probably get it kind of like that so I can lay my wiring out. And the last bit I'll put in here is the key cylinder. Now this key cylinder will come down here like this. I'll drill a hole through here. I got access to my key, but it's kind of hidden. Now the neat thing about this back panel, it's got 4 Zeus fasteners. Basically drop it out. I've got access to all my electronics. Makes it super simple to work on. I don't have to pull the back end out. And the last thing I'm going to do today is mount the coils. So I've got these nice high performance coils here. I started to make a little connector bracket. I'm going to mount these up underneath. Just got to make a little tab. We can tack those under there. Next thing you know, our coils are mounted. We can start routing our spark plug wires. So I'm going to continue doing that. Brian, you're going to keep working on that exhaust. We'll somewhere meet in the middle. We can start almost wiring this thing out.
Okay, we've got this last piece, and that's getting pretty close. I'm going to show you a couple of tips. One thing, if you want to do the opposite side, once you got the first one done, second should really fly. Because you grab your marker, you put it over your tube, bloop, bloop, cut it right on your mark. You know you're ready to go. Should be identical on the opposite side. Now the other thing is, when you come into that tube, see how it's a little bit ovalized? Now this oval, situation has happened by when they bend the tube, they pull the mandrel through. It gets pretty close, but it's still going to be a little bit oval. So we have this tubing expander. What this will do, I'm going to show you on a scrap piece. Turn it on, it's hydraulically operated. See how that goes in and out? Now when you put your tube in there, whoa, look at that. That's a pretty cool tool there. Now we're not actually going to use it to do a slip joint. You could, but what we're going to do is try to take care of a little bit of this ovalization. So we put it on, just put the tip in a little. We're going to touch it off just a little bit, not all the way. Okay, so that should take care of that ovalization. Now this is the last piece to go on. After that, the exhaust is, whoo, finished.
Now you can see we've got everything mounted on the back of our bike. I put a little Scotch-Brite in here just to kind of use as a mock-up for the foam insulation we're going to do to hold the battery in. Now I've used Clecos. Clecos are a great way to temporarily fasten things. You can get them on and off quickly. And it's just an 1/8" pilot hole, so if you need to change your mind a little bit later, you can just zap a little tack weld on there. Now everything's pretty secure down here, and I've made a new coil bracket. Now this coil bracket's pretty simple, but it's going to help tuck these coils back up underneath the bike. Now put the leads toward the back. It's going to make the routing of the wires a little bit cleaner. If I can get Brian to come up here and throw me a tack, these guys will be mounted. Now I've tacked just everything together, so if we change our mind, if we want to remount something, we'll break them back off again. Let me get this nice and center. Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay.
And in the front? Yep.
Okay.
Great. Now when the tank comes down, you're not going to see anything but a couple of wires. It's going to be a nice, clean look. Thanks, Brian.
Gonna get air coming through the front too. Keep them nice and cool.
Yeah, cool is good.
Right now, we got to take a break, so stay tuned. Yeah, we got a stack of emails. I mean, a lot.
Some good questions in there, though.
All right, welcome to the break room. This is our Ask the Host segment. First one we've got is from Mark Moore. Hi guys. I don't know when to change my O2 sensor. I'm not getting a code. If I do change it, am I going to get some kind of performance and mileage gain?
Now that's a great question, Mark. Now on your car, you've got an OBD, an onboard diagnostic system. And it's basically monitoring all your sensors, making sure they're putting out the right, signals. So if you're not getting a code, then your signal from your O2 is probably good and your O2 is fine. So if you go and replace it, you're probably throwing your money away, and you could probably put that somewhere else.
Exactly. Turbocharger, supercharger, all kinds of good stuff. All right, our first product we have today is the To Hitch. Now this thing is cool because we all have a motorcycle. Unfortunately, a lot of us have a lawnmower. You've got a lowered car, and you try to get it onto a trailer, and you've got that high point, and getting it over is really tough.
Even getting it started sometimes, you can ram the bottom of your low radiator on a race car or a front clip.
The cool thing about this, you don't have to buy a whole new trailer. All you do, slide this into your receiver, put in the pin. It's very simple to put in, and you've got 12 inches of tilt so that you can go up and down, tilt this thing or change that angle, be able to get a lowered vehicle on, and you've also got 14 inches of leveling. So if you've got different weights and it's pushing your vehicle in different ways, then you can change that and level out the trailer. So this is a really cool deal.
What's nice too is you can do it safely because everything's attached. Your trailer's attached to the ball while you're doing all of your adjustments.
Very cool. It's from To Hitch.
This is a really innovative product from Bosco International. This is their high beam light wrench set. Now it's cool because it's got two tools in one. It's got a wrench and a flashlight.
This is just for the guy that has everything. You've got every tool known to man, and you need something to just show off with. I mean, all you do, you bolt this thing onto the wall, you plug it in, and then you pull it out and go, dude, look what I got here, man. Look how cool that is. No more of the flashlight under the arm. You're under the firewall. It's got metric and standard built right onto each side, so you don't have to buy 2 sets of wrenches.
Yeah, it's drop forged steel, so if you lose a wrench, you can use a wrench to find your wrench.
And the charge lasts for 5 hours, so you don't have to do it all the time. Very cool. From Bosco International, the high beam light wrench set.
Now this is a great product here. This is multi-tools in one. This is the Power Probe 3 from Power Probe. I always like tools where I get more than one thing.
That's right. And I just learned about this. What it is, it's a continuity tester. You can also power things with it. So if you've got it plugged into your car, you can stick it, like, say, into the plug on like a windshield wiper and hit the power button, and you can see if that thing is working.
Yeah, so not only can you check all your electrical devices, you can check all your power and continuity all at the same time.
Comes with 2 very long cords. Really neat product, the Power Probe 3.
Yeah, and when you're looking for a little bit more performance, look to your coolant. Now here's a performance coolant from Engine Ice. Now this is going to let you run your operating temperatures on your engine cooler so you can run more power for longer periods of time.
This is good from negative 26 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to 256 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's pretty
Way
hot.
more than I'm going to ever use. Way colder than I ever want to be.
Yeah, the nice thing is it's made with deionized water, so it's got excellent corrosive, resistance protection in it. And it's got biodegradable, it's a non-phosphate, non-toxic formula.
Yep.
So safe for the kids, safe for the dog.
That's right. You're going to spend a lot of money on your engine. Be sure you get a high quality coolant like the one from Engine Ice. All right, send us your questions, send us your emails. We'll try to read them here on the show.
Now speaking of, I don't know if you finished that last one. That was a pretty good one.
What? The part where he says, the show's great, we love you guys. You know, he's always trying to pump himself up.
Well, I think he was talking about me.
See you next time in the break room.
For more information about anything you've seen on today's show, check out speedtv.com or visit TwoGuysGarage.com.
There we go, special delivery.
Check that out. This is like a jewelry case, but at the men's department. This thing looks really sweet.
That's pretty rocking. Now, look at that tail. Oh, inside we got our nice new light battery. Got our fuse box in there, our key.
Yeah,
ready
speaking
to rock.
of light, we've got a lightened rear end, lightened hubs, light wheels.
Now, if you come around this side, oh, look inside of here where the coils are.
Nice and tucked away, good cool spot.
And on the front end, you look at the front, now we got our new 30s light. We had to expand the ring a little bit. Got that in there, that's looking pretty sharp.
So it's giving the whole bike a great little look.
Too bad I want to replace that with aluminum tank. But
Yeah, I know, it's
that's a
never
whole-
done, you're never done.
That's a whole nother story. Now we got our pipes roughed in. We got them nice and low. Two good things about that. One, you're getting your weight nice and low center of gravity. Second thing is we've got them tucked into the center. So you get a lean angle over. You're not going to have any issues through here. We can really get this thing over a lot.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to actually seeing this thing lean through a couple of turns, but I need a little bit of gas, a little fuel, a little spark, and maybe a few other details.
We'll hire a rider. I'm sure it'll be fine. Stunt rider for that one. Yeah. So cool. Well, I think we did a good job here. We had a lot of fun, electronics and fab. We got a lot of cool stuff done.
Yeah, well, speaking of fab, I didn't think pipes could be sexy. That's a nice, sexy looking set of pipes you got there on the bike.
All right, well, we're out of time. No more stuff today. We'll see you next time on Two Guys Garage.
See you next time.